Good morning. I'm Ms.Tiopan Sinurat. I'm currently studying early childhood education at Northampton Community College. I'm also taking early childhood profession to teach me how to be a professional teacher in the future. I'm right now setting up a family workshop to invite parents and families to work together with me to reach the children's goals. Here is my student's ID card. The topic for today is about how children develop. Give me a second. Right. How children develops, it depends of two things. The first, that's nature, and the second, that is nurture. Nature is related to genetic, and nurture, that's related to the environments since the child's birth. So what is development? It means change in your child's physical growth. It also changes in your child's social, emotional, behavioral thinking, and communication skills. All of these areas of development are linked, and each depends on and influence the others. In the first 5 years of life, positive experiences and warm, responsive relationships stimulate children's development, creating millions of connections in their brains. In fact, children's brain develop connections faster in the first 5 years than any other time in their lives. This is the time when the foundations for learning, health, and behavior throughout life are laid down. Babies are born ready to learn, and their brains develop through use. Stimulating and caring environments with plenty of different activities give children many ways to play, develop, and learn, as well as many chances to practice what they are learning. Through warm, responsive relationship, your child learns vital information about themselves and their world. For example, your child learns how they are loved, safe, and secure. They also learn about what happens when they do things like cry, laugh, and ask questions. Your child also learns by seeing relationships among other people. For example, by seeing how you behave with other people or family members or friends. This learning is the foundation for the development of your child's communication, behavior, social, and other skills. So when you become pregnant, you have to remember that the child's brain development started in your pregnancy. The fetal brain begins to develop during the 3rd week of gestation. The two cell types that forms the basis of the nervous system. By the 9th week, the brain appears as a small, smooth structures. So, while in the 2nd trimester, more nerve connections and brain tissue are formed. In the 3rd trimester, the cerebral cortex starts to take over from the brainstem. So, preparing your baby for the future learning. By the time your baby arrives, they can hear. They will know your voice. When you become pregnant, remember to do these tips. Start with a story time habit, eat healthy, stay fit and active, play music and get talking. Keep thyroid levels in check. Don't ignore the supplements. Get a little sunshine. Gently massage your tummy. Maternal mood and habit determines child brain development. You have to think about to pay attention for healthy food and also the physical activity and also for health. The minor childhood illness like colds, headaches, and gastroenteritis generally won't have any long-term effects on development, but disability, developmental delay, and chronic or long-term conditions can affect development. Health and disability professionals can help you understand your child's condition and how it affects development. Neighborhood and local community is supported the child's development. In general, development happens in the same order in most children, but skills might develop at different ages or time. For example, children usually learn to stand and then when they learn to walk, but this development can happen anytime between 8 and 18 months. So if you're wondering whether your child's development is on track, just remember that development happens over time. Differences among children are usually nothing to worry about. If you feel that something isn't quite right with your child's development, trust your instinct and get help early. See your child and family health nurse, general practitioner, or pediatrician. Whether you're a parent grandparent, kinship, career, or foster parent raising a child, you're always learning. It's okay to feel confident about what you know, and it's okay to admit that you don't know something and ask questions to get help. It's also important to look after yourself. Looking after yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally is good for you, and it's good for your child. When you are well, you can give your child the loving attention they need to grow and thrive. Remember that part of looking after yourself is asking for self, especially if you're feeling stressed, anxious, or angry. There are many people who can support you, including your partner, friends, relatives, child, or even the general practitioner. So remember that the children's learning happens through the interaction and relationship they have with important people in their life, like parents, brothers, sisters, grandparents, friends, early childhood educators, and teachers. When you tune in and respond to your child, you're creating experiences that help them learn. And all the experiences and interactions your children have stimulates their brain, forming millions and connections that build the skills needs for their life. So play is how children discover and learn about the world around them. Through play, children make friends, build confidence, regulate emotions, and learn and develop many skills. And when children pick up these new skills, they are building on everything they've learned already. The way children play changes as they get older. Babies love interacting with people and exploring their surroundings. For babies, the best toy is you. So babies can start eating solid food around 6 months if they show signs when they are ready. Simple activities that you can see for a 6-month-old baby is like talking, listening, singing. Simple activities that you can do for babies for 6-month-old. You can do talking, listening, singing, and reading. It's good for their development. Remember to always speak to your general practitioner if you find some concerns. Every day, you and your baby will learn a little more about each other. As your baby grows and develops, you learn more about what your baby needs and how you can meet these needs. What about babies crying and how are you going to respond them? Sometimes you'll know why baby's crying. When you respond to your baby's crying, for example, by feeding your baby if they're hungry, your baby feels comfortable and safe. Sometimes you might not know why your baby is crying, but it's still important to comfort your baby. You can't spoil your baby by picking them up, cuddling them, or talking to them in a soothing voice. Never shake a baby. Remember this. It can cause bleeding inside the brain and likely permanent brain damage. If you feel like you can't cope, it's okay to take time out to feel calmer. Gently put your baby in a safe place like a cot. Go to another room to breathe deeply or call your state or territory parenting helpline. You know your baby best. So it's a good idea to see your child and family health nurse or GP if you have any concerns or notice that your 6-month-old has any of the following issues. If your baby is crying a lot and this is worrying you, or if the baby isn't making eye contact with you, is not following moving objects with their eyes, or if the baby has an eye that's turning in and out most of the time, the baby is not babbling or turning towards sounds of voice, or the baby doesn't smile or show whether if they are happy or sad, or maybe the baby isn't rolling or they have poor head control, isn't sitting with your help, doesn't reach with objects. So always remember to meet your health nurse or general practitioner if you find these concerns. When young children are slower to develop physical, emotional, social communication and thinking skills than expected, it's called developmental delay. Developmental delay can show up in the way children move, communicate, think, and learn, and behave with others. When more than one of these areas is affected, it might be called global developmental delay. Developmental delay might be short-term and long-term. Long-term developmental delays are also called developmental disabilities. Examples include learning disabilities, cerebral palsy, and intellectual disability. Children grow and develop at different speeds. If you're worried about whether your child development is normal, it might help to know that normal varies a lot. But as a general guide, you might be concerned about developmental delay if you notice that. Over several months, your child isn't developing motor, social, or language skills at the same rate as other children at the same age. Worried about developmental delay? So, you know your child better than anyone else. If you're concerned about your child's development, trust your instinct and talk to your general practitioner. Early intervention includes therapy, supports, education, and so on. Help children develop the skills they need to take part in everyday's activities. Sometimes children who get early intervention need less or no support as they get older. If your child has developmental delay, you and your child might work with some of the following professionals depending on your child's needs. You may go to the audiologist, occupational therapist, psychotherapist, psychologist, social worker, special education teacher, speech pathologist. Children with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or which we call ADHD, have brains that work differently from the brains of children without ADHD. These differences mean that children with ADHD have particular difficulties and strengths. Typically, children with ADHD have difficulties with paying attention. For example, they find it hard to concentrate on tasks. They are hyperactive. For example, they find it hard to sit still for long. They control impulse. For example, they might say or do things before thinking them through. Through difficulties happens most of the time and have a big effect on children's daily lives. Children with ADHD also have many strengths. They can be highly creative and think about many things in unique ways. Focus on and spend a lot of time learning about and enjoying things they love. Be adventurous and open to trying new things. Channel their energy into physical activity, and that will be very successful. Children and teenagers with ADHD might need support to learn. Manage your emotions, manage their emotions and behavior, develop friendships, and how to do this on supporting children and preteens with ADHD and supporting teenagers with ADHD. The characteristic of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, fall into two groups. The first is inattentive characteristic. We can see the criteria here. The children do not pay close attention to details and make careless mistakes. They have difficulty following instructions and finish tasks like homework or chores. They have difficulty keeping attention on things and easily distracted. They're often distracted by little things like someone moving or sound outside the window. They have trouble remembering everyday things. They avoid tasks that require a lot of mental effort, like schoolwork or homework. They don't seem to listen when they're spoken to. They have trouble getting things in order or doing things on time. They also often losing things like schoolwork, pencils, books, clothing, lunchbox, or water bottles. So, when health professionals are working out whether a child has ADHD, they look at things like the following. The characteristics appear before the age of 12 years old. And the diagnosis depends on how many inattentive and hyperactive or impulsive characteristics a child has. Severity of characteristics. The characteristics are present most of the time and significantly affect the child's life. Diagnosing ADHD is not easy because ADHD can overlap with other conditions, but the right diagnosis means your child can get the right therapies and supports. So now let's talk about the toddlers and preschoolers. They use their imagination to play in creative and dramatic plays, which help them understand their world and their school-age children. Play is a chance to have fun and unwind from the routines and rules of school. Exploring through play is natural for children. Whether your child plays with you, with others, or her own, your support and encouragement of play is important for them learning. Now let's take a look how the preschooler develop. Define motor development milestones at about age T Age 3 should include drawing a circle, drawing a person with 3 parts. The fine motor development milestones at about child age 4, they can draw a square, they can use scissors and eventually cut a straight line, put a clothes properly, manage a spoon and fork neatly while eating. And the behavior. The preschoolers learn the social skills needed to play and work with other children. As time passes, the child is better able to cooperate with the large numbers of peers. Gross motor development, we can see that when child is 3 to 6 years old, so they should be able to become more skilled at running, jumping, only throwing and kicking, and also catching a bounce ball, pedaling a tricycle, becoming able to steer well, and they can hop at one foot. For the language development, they are able to say the pronouns and prepositions appropriately. When they are 4, they follow a 3-step command, count to 4, name 4 colors, and also enjoy rhymes and word play. When they are 5, they show only understanding of time concepts, they count to 10, they know the telephone number, and they respond to why questions. By age 5, more children are ready to get learning in school settings. In 3rd grade, the focus becomes more complex. An ability to pay attention is important for success both at school and at home. A 6-year-old should be able to focus on a task at least 15 minutes. By age 9, a child should be able to focus attention for about 1 hour. Early school-age children should be able to use simple but complete sentences that contain an average of 5 to 7 words. Language delays may be due to hearing or intelligence problem. In addition, children who are unable to express themselves may be more likely to have aggressive behavior or temper tantrums. Peer acceptance becomes more important during the school age years. Children may take part in certain behaviors to be part of the group. Talking about these behaviors with your child will allow the child to feel accepted in the group. Lying, cheating, and stealing are all examples of behaviors that school-age children may try on. As they learn how to negotiate the expectation and rules placed them by family, friends, and society. So here's the parenting tips. If your child's physical development appears to be outside the norm, talk to your provider. If language skills appear to be lagging, request a speech and language evaluation. Keep close communication with teachers, other school employees, and parents of your child's friends so you are aware of possible problems. Encourage children to express themselves and openly and talk about this. So the summary is how children develop. It all supported and influenced by 2 factors. The first is nature, that's the genetic, and the second, that's nurture. Right, so that's all about the family workshop for today. Thank you for listening to me. I hope we can work together to meet the children's goals. Thank you and bye-bye.